7 important commissions and committees were put together in the post-independence India in terms of higher education. This video is going to be about that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Swastika. And in case you're new here, I request you to please press the subscribe button. That'll be great. So the topic of discussion in hand today is higher education system in India in the post-independence period. So in one of the previous videos, I had extensively talked about pre-independent India and how higher education functioned there back then. And in this one, we will basically be covering all the commissions and committees that happened in the post-independence period. So this is super important, this topic, from the perspective of competitive papers like UGC NET, especially paper number 1, because it's an examiner's favorite topic to cover. They love asking questions from here. So for paper 1, this is super important, and also for your entrances. So in this, I will basically be going through 7 different commissions and how they were modified, and I will briefly be discussing some of the points that all of them have, some of the important points. So the first one that we are going to talk about is University Education Commission. The second one that we are going to talk about is Secondary Education Commission. The third one is Kothari Commission, and the next 4 are new policy of education. The first one happened in 1968, the next one happened in 1986. जो last के 2 digits है उनको एकदम twist कर दो तो 1968, and the next one is 1986. The one after that happened in 1992, and the last one that we will be discussing is going to be the one in 2016. So please watch this video till the end. It's super easy. I've tried to make it very easy and very simple for you people to understand. So let's begin. So the first one that we are going to discuss today is going to be University Education Commission. For this, the chairperson was Dr. Radhakrishnan, and because of that, this is often called as Radhakrishnan Committee. So this basically happened between the years 1948 to 1949, and the basic objective of this was to integrate secondary and higher education and to set up University Grants Committee. The second thing that this extensively mentioned was to have a selection procedure in place and to limit the working hours of faculty and the teaching hours and so on and so forth. It also placed emphasis on research in India. The next one that we are going to talk about is Secondary Education Commission. This is often called as Mudaliar Committee, and this happened between the years 1952 to 1953. This had a very important point, that it said that secondary education should be complete within 7 years. This means that from the age of 11 to 17, your secondary education should be complete. This further went on to emphasize on the importance of activity method and project method while teaching, and most importantly, that I think most students would connect with, was that it emphasized on the importance of co-curricular activities. Co-curricular activities basically means extracurricular activities apart from studying in class, like dancing, music, so on and so forth. So this emphasized on the importance of integrating co-curricular activities with your normal education. The next one that we are going to talk about today is Kothari Committee. So this is super important from the perspective of entrance papers and also from the perspective of competitive papers, because this is something that is often asked. So this basically happened between the time period of 1964 to 1966. The first thing that should come to your mind when somebody says Kothari committee is progressive and 10 plus 2 plus 3. ये दो keywords है. The two keywords are progressive and 10 plus 2 plus 3 for this committee, and obviously the time period, which is super important, please don't forget it. So it was progressive in the sense that it said that 6% of India's income should go into the education sector. The second thing that it said was to set up education for the 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern. This basically means after your 10th class you have 2 more years, 11th and 12th, and after that you have 3 years of college. So this was super progressive and you have to keep that in mind. And further, it emphasized upon the 3-language program. This basically means that they said that one mother tongue you have to know, one regional language you have to know, and one formal language you have to know. So this is also important to keep in mind. So Kothari committee is progressive, has a 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern and gives you a 3-language pattern. The next one that came was new education policy. So the first one that came was in 1968. So how do you remember this? It's very easy to remember it because this policy basically came under Indira Gandhi. So whenever we say Indira Gandhi, it's sort of easy to remember because we remember the blunder of 1975 and how that turned out for all of us. So after the Kothari committee, which was from 1964 to 1966, came the new policy on education in 1968, which was brought under Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So whenever I think of Indira Gandhi, there is an image that comes into my head of a strong, dominant leader who wanted radical change. So drawing from that aspect of her personality, it sort of showed into this policy as well, because she wanted radical restructuring of the education policy in India. And that is how she introduced the first national policy on education. So by radical restructuring, she says that she wanted it to be inclusive of several different dimensions like the cultural sphere and other spheres as well. So every time somebody says NPE, the first thing that should come to your mind is Indira Gandhi. The second thing that should come to your mind is 1968. And the third thing that should come to your mind is radical restructuring. After you have kept the 3 keywords in your mind, you have to ask yourself, radical restructuring of what? The education system. So this basically means that she wanted to equalize the education system by removing and reducing disparities amongst people and ensuring that this further leads to cultural and economic development. Another one of the important things that she said was that education should be made compulsory till the age of 14, and Sanskrit also you have to learn, and the 3-language formula was also implemented. The next one that we are going to talk about is new policy on education in 1986. So it's very easy to remember. The first one happened in 1968 and the next one happened, you twist the last 2 digits and you get 1986. So after Indira Gandhi came Rajiv Gandhi. So this was under Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, and he basically said something along similar lines, which basically means that he also wanted to reduce disparities and inequalities among students, and so he basically put forward the idea of scholarships and emphasized on the importance of adult education. He also wanted to expand the program of open university education as with IGNOU and this happened in 1985. So this is not very difficult to remember because it was along similar lines of his mother, Indira Gandhi, because he also wanted to equalize disparities. He wanted to introduce scholarships. He wanted adult education to be there, and so it's kind of similar. So lastly, Rajiv Gandhi said that there should be rural universities that should be set up as well. The next one that we are going to talk about is basically a modification of NPE 1986, which comes under PV Narasimha Rao and is basically called NPE 1992 since he was the Prime Minister then. So this basically had envisaged a common entrance test for admission into technical and other fields, and this was something which was then implemented by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2005. The next one that we are going to discuss is NPE 2016, and I was under this program when CBCS came, which is choice-based curriculum system. And this is important because it focused on holistic development, which means that it also talks about skills. So it moved from a purely theoretical idea to a more practical concept, and this also means that your skills were also emphasized upon. Their importance was also a part of the curriculum, and education for girl child was made compulsory. Further emphasis was put on rural universities. So this was the brief outline of the 7 components that I have discussed in the beginning, and I hope you guys understood and I hope you liked it. Thank you for listening, and if you like it, then please subscribe.